the article states, it says inside Kylie Jenner. Oh well, that's not a good way to start our podcast.
All right, what's up, everybody? What's up? We are back. The Queen City Psychos. It is me, Jesse Mayo, your host for today, and Aidan Higgins, of course, and the Lord with the Sword, Sir John Legion. We
What
are
up?
back with our episode. What episode is this? This is episode number um
14, I believe. 15?
14.
14 or 15, yeah.
Yeah, 14, 15.
Oh man.
So yeah, so
We're moving
yeah,
along.
so basically I wanted to talk about what does it mean to be self-made. Now, I I wanted to talk about this because I think it's a very interesting topic. I think a lot of people have been basically
13.
trying to figure.
This is 13. Episode 13. Sorry for cutting you off.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
I was
13. Yeah,
thinking. I thought it was 13.
Yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
continue.
So, um, so I know this is actually kind of old, but a while ago, Kylie Jenner, I think what was it on Forbes list or something like that, but where it was said that she was the youngest self-made billionaire.
Didn't they recently
And I was
revoke
like,
her billionaire status?
yeah, I think they recently did. Yeah,
Okay.
didn't they say that she lied or something like that? I didn't
I
really
don't
read
know.
into it.
I don't read into it because I couldn't care less. I don't
Really, I
think.
thought you had a crush on her.
No, not at all.
Okay, I was just making sure.
I
But,
don't think anyone in that family deserves any amount of money, but that's just me. I
When did he
digress.
ever
oh,
say he had a crush on Kylie Jenner?
He's putting words in my mouth like he usually does.
you know I'm a troll. You know I'm
He's
a troll. Okay.
projecting. He's projecting again.
But anyway, but
But you're
at the same time, you can't act like if she wasn't gonna pass by you, you wouldn't hit that one time. But anyway,
Nope.
Aiden's right though. Aiden's
It's a bit,
right.
it's a bit, it's a bit used up there, Jesse.
oh no, you didn't.
Yeah, it was as far as far as I know, I'd actually agree. I'd second that based off what I've heard, based off what I know. But he's right. She is no longer considered a billionaire. I'm looking it up right now on Forbes.
So is
So,
she no longer considered a billionaire, or she never was a billionaire?
the article states, it says inside Kylie Jenner. Oh well, that's not a good way to start our podcast. Yeah, oh, sorry. Yeah, but it says inside Kylie Jenner's web of lies and why she's no longer a billionaire. So
Oh, hmm.
Hey, as
Well, that's
as
interesting.
NF said in his song, "You're not a rich man because you're on the Forbes list."
Yeah, so let's get into it. So, what does it mean to be self-made? I mean, you have somebody like Oprah Winfrey, who was what wasn't she born in some kind of some shed she was kind of born in, but she, like
Mississippi.
Drake said, yeah, like Drake said, she started from the bottom and now she's here, or she made her way to the top.
Well, she was
So,
here, now she's kind of there.
oh yeah, that's true. Everybody's attacking her now, but you know, that's one thing I wanted to say is what does it mean to be self-made? I was watching, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. My manhood is still here. I was watching The View, okay? I was watching The View, and it was one of the co-hosts said that um, if you are born on third base and you hit a home run, that's not really self-made. And they were talking about people, someone like Kylie Jenner. So exactly, how do you guys feel about that? Like, do you think that's true? Um, what are your thoughts on this?
I feel like it kind of depends. Like, you can be started off somewhere like that, but you have to have a certain degree of diligence to be able to progress. But at the
Yeah.
same time, you can start way up there and then just as easily just like flop. Like, look at Jaden Smith. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah,
mean?
that's true.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, not that he's not successful, but you know what I mean, to where like
Hmm.
he's not living up anywhere close to the um not possibility, but potential that he could have. Like back when he
Yeah.
first started like rapping and doing stuff like how he did that one song with Justin Bieber,
Justin Bieber.
Never Say Never. Like
Mhm.
dude, like he can actually rap if he really tried, and then now he's just like a Twitter
Yeah.
philosopher and he's into how can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real? Like
Yeah. It
shut
just
up,
sounded
dude.
stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, his sister came on as an artist too, didn't she? Willow. I mean, she had a matter of fact, whenever she did her first album, she was like 15. I think the single on her debut album, "With My Hair." I think
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that was like a top 10 hit. That actually, I'm pretty sure. I think that was a top 10 hit. That was on the Billboard chart. So I'd say she made a bigger splash as an artist than he did.
And that's what I'm
I still
Oh
haven't
saying.
yeah.
heard
Like,
anything from her since though.
but that goes back to what I'm saying. Like, you know, you
Yeah,
can. It doesn't matter how far you're started. Like, you have to have a certain amount of diligence to be able to continue. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
a great example of that, Dale Earnhardt Jr. I know you guys
Well,
probably aren't the biggest NASCAR fans, but like Dale
I know.
Earnhardt back in the
We're
day,
from North Carolina, bro.
yeah. Well,
If you live in
I'm
North
not,
Carolina,
but
you know who Dale Earnhardt is.
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. But like man's a legend, right? And then look at
Yeah.
his son,
Oh yeah.
just as much of a legend. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
he started in a position to be able to do that, and then he progressed. Or like Christian McCaffrey.
Hmm.
Christian McCaffrey's dad wasn't by any means an all-star football player, but he was a decent player, and now look at Christian McCaffrey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually don't. I don't really hold sports in the same. I mean, if we're talking about being self-made, I think sports is more. Let's see. How can I put this? It is more of you create your own. It's an avenue where you can create your own legacy because you're basically judged off your body of work, whereas someone like Kylie Jenner or a Jaden Smith or Willow Smith. I mean, in the same way, I mean, yes, there a certain amount of merit. You are judged by off merit when it comes to the entertainment industry, but that's a little bit. I feel like that's a little bit on a spectrum because you guys know you don't necessarily have to have talent to be what most people would consider successful.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
most definitely true, as we've talked about on this podcast multiple times.
Yeah. Whereas sports, it is the majority of, well, let's say an overwhelming majority of what you get out of your chosen sport depends on merit, like really your body of work and how great you are. I think in entertainment, it's just there's just a difference, and also a lot of it, as far as entertainment goes, a lot of it is who you know.
Well, I feel like it kind of goes for that in sports too, though.
Yeah, to a degree. Yeah, you're right.
Look at Bronny. Like, kid is LeBron. Like, he's LeBron's kid, so no matter what, he's gonna get tons of media coverage. So
Yeah,
he's automatically more exposed
absolutely.
to getting drafted and getting a pick than I don't know, say I
Yeah.
would
I'm.
be if
I'm
I were to
not.
play college basketball. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not denying.
you automatically have a boost. So that's
Mhm.
what I'm saying. Like you have to put in the work. Like just because he's LeBron's kid doesn't guarantee him a shot at the NBA, but it does
So yes, he still has to
guarantee
be consistent
him
about it.
publicity.
Yeah.
So I feel
Yeah.
like it's the same, it's a different dynamic, but it's the same general idea.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Well, I
with you.
get what you're saying, and I do understand, but I think it could be a difference between working hard and actually being self-made. And I'll try to make more sense. Like, let's say I start my business or I start somewhere like in my garage and I start there. And there have been businesses that start there and then they make their way to the top. Now, of course, as they start, of course, you do still have to work hard, but eventually once your product gets out there and then I think that's what a lot of people are trying to differentiate is, you know, does self-made mean that um I don't have any aid and then I work my way to the top, or somebody like Kylie Jenner who is famous and you know opportunities are already waiting there for her. Of course, she still works hard for it, but you know, is that really considered self-made? If you get what I'm saying?
I would
Yeah,
say
it's not.
yes, but like the Walmart brand version of it, if for
Yeah.
lack of better description. Like kind of what I
Okay.
was like kind of what I was going back to saying earlier. It's like
Oh yeah, I
they
definitely
ha-
get what you're
they
saying. So
they
you,
have a boost, but in order to stay there, they have like it's up to them to stay there. So it's not the same thing, but at the same time, it does have an air of individuality about it.
yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Me get. Let me say this. Me personally, I'd say an example that pops into my head, or the first name that pops into my head when I think of a self-made man. I would say, and he may not be the best example, but I'd say a good example would be a Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
now thankfully he has a movie about him, which helps tell the tale of how he became such a
The
big
world,
deal.
the world's most pronounced reptile.
The I'm sorry.
No,
oh yeah, yeah, he's definitely an alien.
Yeah, well, yeah,
he's
I'm
got
with
a
you on that.
he's got a forked tongue and everything, bro. He's got a third he's got a third eyelid.
Does he really?
No.
There was a video. I mean, it's probably fake, but it did seem like he had like lizard eyes. He looked away, and then he just. I was like, ooh,
I'm telling you, man, he's a reptile.
yeah.
He's
A
an
reptile.
invasive species in
Hmm.
more ways than one. Sorry, continue, Tyler.
Can I? No,
We're
no.
we're 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 trolling. We're memeing around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew this was gonna happen, but yeah, but going back to Zuckerberg, I mean, obviously, I didn't really know a whole lot about him until I saw the film, The Social Network. But as far as he's self-made, when you take into, in my opinion, he's self-made when you take into account the fact that he had an idea and he basically pursued it. But there obviously he had friends and colleagues who were there to help him along the way. So yeah, I was saying you can be self-made, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you do everything by yourself. I mean, you obviously, because I mean, you do need some help to to reach a certain level of. I mean, to make it to the level of Zuckerberg, you're going to need some help from somebody. But I guess obviously being the owner and CEO of your own company, in my opinion, that's about as to me that'd be the sole definition of being self-made. And assuming it was it's you're the originator of your own idea, which technically, I mean, again, if we're referencing the movie, he did kind of what were they the Winklevoss twins? They did have the same idea as him, and
Hmm.
I'm not just saying he stole it, but again, I think it's a matter of perspective. But staying on topic, yeah, that would be uh, I'd say a pretty good example of someone who's self-made.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
And I think back to Aiden's point. I mean, you know, even if you, um, I think it does kind of depend because you know your hard work it does determine whether you will, you know, become successful or you know you could be in a position where a lot of people know you and you know your career flops or your how do I say it? Just a lot of things might fail because you feel like, oh well, I'm on this level of success now, so it's going to do well anyway. But it doesn't work like that. You have to put in some kind of work, and that's why you know there are people who eventually become billionaires or become millionaires because they kept that. So yeah, I do understand that hard work does make you self-made. You
Yeah,
know,
like, and
um,
Yeah.
also going back to my example of Christian McCaffrey earlier, like, yeah, his dad was a decent NFL player, but Christian didn't just come out of the womb knowing how to hold the football and knowing all the different gaps and having all the footwork and everything. Like, that man put in tons and tons of work throughout his life.
yeah,
So, like, regardless of the platform he had or not, like, he still worked for what he's got, and now he's one of, if not the best running back in the NFL currently. Like, you don't just get that because of where you're like who your dad was. You know what I mean? So like
yeah, that's
I feel
definitely
like
true.
every situation is their own. Like personally, how Jesse was kind of starting off with like Kylie Jenner or whatever. That in absolutely no shape or form anyway is self-made. She's completely riding off the coattails of her family. Like I don't think she's done anything by herself other than like make a makeup palette,
Yeah, that's what I was
which
asking.
isn't
Yeah.
really anything special. Like no. Not to mention like her whole relationship with Travis Scott, who's one of the biggest rappers in the world right now. It's like she's just around nothing
Hmm.
but money and fame. It's like she's literally
Yeah.
related to Kanye. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's almost impossible not to be
Yeah.
rich.
Yeah, I definitely, but then you have some people that might say, well, she got herself there, she worked hard, or, she did things for herself, just like
Yeah,
you brought up.
she didn't get addicted to drugs as far as we know, and she didn't do anything stupid to get kicked out of the family. Definitely self-made.
Yeah, that's true.
She
Yeah.
definitely worked for all that money.
Well, one thing
Listen,
I do know is I definitely wouldn't, no matter how much of a billionaire you are, I probably wouldn't be in that family either. Everybody that goes in that family is screwed up
yeah,
after
I'll
a while.
pass.
Like,
I'll pass on being a Kardashian too.
Props to Tristan Thompson for hanging in there so long.
yeah,
He had no business hanging in there, but that's just my opinion. Even though,
Oh no, he doesn't, but it's still props.
because I mean, right after him, it was when it James Harden.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't really pay attention.
Yeah,
Well,
some
she
news
was
just
loving crew.
hey, some news gets shoved down our throats, man. It's kind of it's hard to escape. I mean, I hats off to you for not even knowing any of this stuff. I wish I didn't know it either, but unfortunately, who are Kardashian sister dates ends up on that news ends up on ESPN because they stick to athletes.
Yep, athletes and rappers.
Yep. So if you follow
Guaranteed
sports,
money.
Well, except for Courtney,
yeah,
she
true.
sits with 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 Scott. All
Don't
right,
drag us there. I mean, hey, only one of us in this group is actually following one.
yeah. So yeah. All right. So yeah, that's we brought on some really good points.
I think we need to
Um,
start calling Jesse Ray J May.
Ray J May. Well, I mean, hey, if
uh,
I were to hit first, no, it's like
allegedly,
no,
Ray J hit it first, but anyway, allegedly.
yeah,
Yeah,
allegedly,
publicly.
Yeah,
publicly,
right,
the only
right.
one that's recorded first, but
I
you
mean,
never
right.
know
I
what.
mean, we really can we really say that we know?
Yeah, we
Can we
don't
really
know, we
say that we
don't.
care?
Yeah.
I
Now
think
we
that
did cover the sex tape on a past episode, did we not?
Yeah,
I
we
think
did.
we did.
It
We
was
did.
when
Okay,
Jesse
okay.
made his bold claim.
Oh yeah, but I'm gonna ask this question though. Okay,
Oh boy.
is there and I know this might be a little off topic, but is there some kind of hate towards the Kardashians? Because I guarantee you, if I were to say Jennifer Lopez is the baddest female, Beyonce is the baddest female, Rihanna is the baddest female, it wouldn't have been a problem. But if I say Kim Kardashian,
It wouldn't be the same.
oh Lord,
It wouldn't be the same problem because it's still I feel like it's still kind of a bandwagon thing. But it
mm-hmm,
but they're all three of them are like different people. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
at least I have respect for those three.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I
I'm
mean,
sorry,
I get that.
I don't have a single ounce of respect for the Kardashians. I
Well,
don't.
why though?
What did they ever do?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what their talents are. I mean,
Self
I know
promotion.
that they're making money, and then I don't
I
know.
think I tell you the talent of self promotion.
But that's a skill that I don't know if anybody else has, to be
But
honest with you.
but Kim didn't even promote herself. Ray J did.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is how does she do that though?
Well, I
How
mean,
does she do that?
She didn't.
well, okay. Well, didn't she? I'm assuming she agreed to having. No, as a matter of fact, we know she agreed to it. Her mom was uh, what did Chris do? She was distributing the sex tape. So
Oh
she
God,
had no. So Kim definitely had a hand in making herself a
pimping your
star.
own
No, it
daughter
was
out.
no, it was not all Ray J. Nah, bro.
Oh, pimping your own
But
daughter out for money. That's a shame.
Yep, that's
exactly.
exactly
But
what that is.
that just goes to prove my point. Like I don't have an ounce of respect for that family.
I
Okay, I get your point. I do.
Yeah.
I do. But um,
well,
and
let
a
me.
lot of people
And,
go
and the
ahead.
thing is, no, and the only reason they're still relevant is like who even watches their TV show anymore? Like seriously,
Well, I
the
mean,
only
I don't.
the only reason I mean I never did to begin with, but the only reason they're still relevant is Kanye, Travis Scott.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Like
And I think the mom was with a black man too. I mean, I
who
think it
knows
was,
and who cares?
Yeah, probably. It
yeah.
wouldn't. I mean, it wouldn't shock me at all. But can we veer off of the Kardashians, please?
Yes, please, please.
All right,
Yeah.
let's
All
talk
right.
about some dude stuff. No,
Okay.
I'm
So,
joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
okay.
But I have a
If you're
question
onto
for.
quality content,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So, Tyler, what were you about to say?
I got a question for you guys. So I was just googling Zuckerberg a few minutes ago. So he's actually the I don't know how I forgot this, but he's actually the co-founder because I believe it was he owns the majority share. He's a majority shareholder of the company. So does would you still consider someone who maybe starts their own company as a co-founder to be a self-made man, or or is it just sole? I guess the term would be sole ownership of a particular. And I'm not just talking about in terms of
I
like a
think
corporate.
you're thinking of sole proprietor, Tyler.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. Thank you.
No, I still consider it self-made because self doesn't necessarily mean individual.
Right. Okay. Okay. It's
Um,
kind of going back to my point earlier. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, like
Yeah.
say for example, if this podcast were to take off without signing any sort of business deal with another contract to help promote us or anything, we would be a self-made show because we did it ourselves. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
have to mean individual. Like
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
independent bands are self-made. You know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So wait, an independent band that would be like so. Would that be
A band that doesn't sign with a record label and does their own production and
right?
distribution.
Distributes their own music.
Yeah, they produce
Okay.
and distribute their own music with no ties to a record label.
Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause NWA did that, didn't they? Like before they signed with uh
Probably, I don't know.
trying to think.
I'm not the right person to
I
ask that
think
question.
NWA did. I'm not sure.
Because they had already released or they had released some singles or some tracks before they ever signed Jerry Heller as their manager and before they ever got a record deal. So I guess that would make them independent. I would think
Yeah,
Yeah.
if that's criteria.
Now, I think the question is, because especially in Hollywood, you would have to ask the question, you know, are a lot of these celebrities self-made? Now, at the end of the day, I am kind of a conspiracy theorist. So I do
aren't we all
I do
to a
understand
certain
that
Well,
degree?
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. When you say Hollywood, you're talking. I assume you are referring to the film industry, right? I mean,
Well,
you
uh,
said celebrities and then you said Hollywood, but I mean
well,
Hollywood,
well, I'm
Hollywood.
talking about like yeah, like I want to say movie stars, but also like singers. Um,
So
like
more
for
like
example,
more like pop culture celebrities.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
necessarily
those
pop
kind of
culture,
celebrities.
but like
Yeah.
Those singers.
currently famous, currently relevant celebrities.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like those kind of celebrities and how you hear about how they're in these secret societies and the secret societies help them move up in their profession and it's like hmm.
Yeah, I believe in that.
Yeah, because
We
everybody
know,
at
well, we
first,
know it
you know how you're in
exists.
high school. Yeah, you know how you're in high school. They're like, oh, the Illuminati, he's in the Illuminati. I mean, of course, I mean, we all know the Illuminati is not real, but we do know that there are secret societies out there. So, and I
You
do
know,
kind of believe that there are secret societies that kind of boost you up a little bit.
oh yeah, we know. Yeah, no, we know for a fact. I think Aiden was about to confirm. Or at least me and him know. We know that those things actually exist. Those are real.
And
Oh
There's
yeah,
more often
uh,
than not, extremely messed up.
yeah. So you guys know Joaquin Phoenix, right? You know the
Yeah.
guy that played
mm-hmm.
Joker. He was actually in a cult as a child called Children of God,
Yeah,
right?
and that's why his parents wanted. That's why his parents named him what he was, or something like that. Or like
It was a
there's
sex
some
cult.
interesting story about like him and his siblings' names.
Mhm. But him and the girl that was dating Marilyn Manson, she's the one on CNN. Yeah, the super feminist was Rose something. Um, but she was an actress. McGowan, I think that's her name, Rose McGowan.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I just know she was an actress, but I know she was like really popular when her and Marilyn Manson were an item. But yeah, she was in when she was a kid, she was in the same cult as a child.
Huh.
yeah. I mean, does that worry you? Especially
Yeah,
since we're trying to be in this industry. I mean, does that worry you? Like, do I have to? Well, not have to, but is that what it takes to be somebody in this industry? Like sometimes it kind of
Feel
worries
like
me.
with all the new avenues that are opening up, it's starting to become less prevalent. Like
Yeah,
I feel like we're slowly seeing a shift to where the the film like entertainment industry is going to be like a two-sided thing. There'll be like the
yeah,
corporate side where it's like pretty much owned by Disney and all that kind of stuff, and then there'll be like the independent side, which we're starting to see a lot more of.
oh yeah. And see, one thing I definitely would not join is Scientology. Oh my goodness, a lot of the celebrities are in that. Have you guys heard about that?
Have you heard Hobson
or
talk about
huh?
have you heard Hobson talk about it?
No, I
Uh,
haven't. But
It's
the reason
funny.
why we
He if you guys really want to hear about it, he they did a segment talking about it on him when he was on Impulsive, Logan Paul's podcast. There's a
mm-hmm.
there's a section in there where he's talking about how like Hobson, one of his buddies, went like visited the Church of Scientology or something. It's pretty whack. If you guys want to listen to it, I can show you it after the show.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry, Tyler, you're about to say something.
No, I was gonna say. I mean, that's. I mean, if you want any info on the Church of Scientology, all you'd have to do is listen to someone who was once a member and is,
I listened
part.
to Leah Remini. I think is
There
that her
you go.
name, Leah
Yeah,
Remini.
Leah Ramini from the King of Queens. Yeah, she at one point a couple of years ago, she was going around outing them or putting them on Front Street. So it's. I mean, it really confirms a lot of stuff. Not only that, but the movie The Master, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Mm-hmm.
That was another film or that was a film that sort of gave you some insight or an in-depth look at basically uh, the earliest beginnings of so-called Scientology and stuff like
Yeah,
that. There's definitely information out there, you know.
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to ask, like when it comes to being self-made, like when you watch, um, for example, what was the guy? He was, I think he was over, not over, but he was at Fox News, and it was like some sexual assault allegations, and it was Megyn Kelly and
Rupert Murdoch?
all these.
No, no, not him. No, I'm sorry. Roger Ailes, I think was his name.
Yeah, yeah, him.
I have no
And
idea, personally.
well, it's I'm not going to ask about that
Yeah.
personal that situation. I'm just making the point that a lot of people that do things like that, like they may have sex with someone to get ahead, or they may uh
No pun
I
intended.
don't know, they a lot of people they walk into a room, a woman may walk into a room in a professional job, and she is told, well, you know, come over here and sit on my lap or something like that, just to get
Joe Biden? Question
themselves.
mark.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm definitely over Joe Biden. Yeah, I'm black,
No,
Joe
I'm
Biden. I'm black. Okay. I hear a lot about the rituals and things like that, and basically, do we still consider that self-made? If I go and touch someone inappropriately, or if I go to a sex party, or if I do whatever Hollywood tells me to do, do we still consider that I got myself here?
Well, you're asking. Well, here's the thing, Jesse. You're asked. That's something that you need to answer for yourself, bro. Because I honestly, I honestly think that's the individual has to come to their own assessment
Hmm.
of whether they think that is whether or not they can live with themselves if they choose to take that avenue to whatever they think is going to make them successful. I mean, that's really on them. I mean,
Hmm.
I can only speak for myself. I honestly could care less how society feels, whether they think it's whether that's appropriate or whether that doing something like that or participating in any sort of sexual proclivities with your superiors, to get ahead. I mean,
no
I
pun
could care
intended.
less whether people think that's whether that's right or wrong. I know how I feel about that, and I know what my stance is on that, and and that's really all that's really all that matters to me. I mean, of course, I'll give my opinion if you ask me of it, but you know
Hmm.
that's up to the individual.
Okay. Well, this is very, of course, what you said is very important. It's up to the individual, and that's one thing about being self-made is you do have to make your own individual decisions and say, is this right for me? Is this something I
Damn
should be
right.
doing? So yeah, that's basically important. So, what would you tell yourself since you want to be whatever you want to be, or whatever um, direction you want to go in life, whatever profession? What would you tell yourself? How can I get myself to a position where I want to be? Like, what steps can I take? Um, am I making any sense? Like, how can I
Yeah.
get myself to this level?
To quote the great Shia LaBeouf, don't let your dreams be dreams. Just do it. Yesterday,
Yeah.
you said tomorrow. You know that's gonna
Yeah,
be
the
the
great
thumbnail
Shia
now.
LaBeouf.
That's gonna be the thumbnail now, Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
gotta
man.
be.
Thank you, bro. Let's do it. So are you asking for advice?
Yeah. Well, well, yeah, for advice or
Okay,
something that
well,
you would.
here's one piece of advice. Don't bother getting into a serious relationship until you reach a place or you reach a certain status where you can afford to that's it where you can afford to have one. You know,
Hmm.
stay away from
Yeah.
hoes.
Well, I don't know about that part. No, I was just playing.
Really
I was just
though.
playing. I'm just playing, man. I'm a born again, spirit filled.
Watch
Shut
your
up,
money.
Jesse. Sorry, Tyler, continue.
No, I just said no. After that, I just said watch your money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
that's true. Definitely watch money.
be very careful about who you choose to associate yourself with, and who you choose to put your trust in, especially when dealing with things like finances, and who to hire, who to employ, who to partner with. All these things. All these things, if your dream is to start your own company or whatever, these are things that have to be taken into account. Period.
Yeah, most definitely.
So
Yeah. So and that's one thing that I will say is being self-made is not just about, being self-made as far as money or profession, but it's also, you know, knowing yourself and building who you are as an individual. That's also self-made, is
being your own
finding
boss.
who you are. Exactly. Which, and that's one thing I can say, and I know we keep bringing this up, but that's one thing I can say about Kanye is he definitely is, you can say whatever you want about him, but he definitely stays true to himself. And he definitely knows who he is, and he goes forward with that. And that's exactly
I wouldn't
why, I
say
mean, he
he's
does things.
self-made though,
Okay, go ahead and
fully.
explain.
Well,
I
wasn't
mean,
he?
Jay did sign him,
Yeah,
so I
Well,
because
like
when
again,
Kanye
wasn't he?
wasn't. I don't believe Kanye was an independent artist. He got signed by Rockefeller, or maybe he did. I mean, I know he released some stuff
But
before,
he didn't
but I
really
mean,
blow up until he got signed.
until he met Jay Z.
yeah, and I agree with that. But like I said, being self-made, it also, like I said, it's not just as far as profession or money. It also is finding who you are.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
you
That is true.
they said that he couldn't his album wasn't going to be great. His new album, Jesus King, and it ended up being number one. And it's because he knows who he is. He knows his worth, and that's a part of being self-made. You know, that's basically what being self-made is knowing your worth, knowing your values, knowing who you are. So let's see. Being that we're in times now where, I mean, you see how the world is, and you see how, a lot of things are going on right now, and you have a lot of people who they want to be themselves. Again, we said being self-made is not, it doesn't always have to be towards profession or towards money, but it could also be knowing who you are and knowing your worth, knowing your value, things like that. So, of course, I want to speak on also the times that we're in where people can't really, or they're scared to express who they are, or express, because we're all different and we're all individuals, but a lot of people are scared to express that. And I think that it's really sad times, because that's not the America that we know, as far as, having your own identity, having your own opinions. So, what do you guys think about that, as far as, a lot of people being afraid to speak up or speak out, or, things like that?
Um,
Hey,
I don't know. I'm starting to drift off, so Tyler, if you wanna take it.
uh,
Not making any sense.
Yeah.
no, you're making sense. Look, as far as I know, look, since whether we're talking censorship or uh, people being someone being people being oppressed, or there's always been some form of oppression that's always existed and always will. But I think, but that's just the way to combat things like that is just to have your own.
Have your own.
Yeah.
And again, that goes into being self-made. Have your own.
Hmm.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I think we had a really great discussion. I really um, look forward into seeing all of our career paths, all of our lives going forward. Aiden, I know is going to do great things. Especially with his channel, and of course, Tyler, he's going to do great things with his channel. Tyler is very woke, and that's what I want people to understand. He's going to be the next Martin Luther King.
Wait a minute. No, I'm not. Don't tell that lie. No, no. I am. I completely.
He's the next Jaden Smith. What are you talking about, Jesse?
Oh, oh, no.
Hell no. I ain't got a rich daddy who stars in Hollywood movie. Well, actually, Will Smith. I mean, he's kind of he's on the back end of his career. Sorry, Will, but you are. Sorry, you've had a great run, man. You've had a
he's
great
on
run.
he's on YouTube now and doing social media
I
now.
know. Well,
So,
hey, that's the sign. That's the sign. He's gone from movie star to YouTube star.
but only because he wants to, not because
I
he,
want Fortnite and Marcus Brownlee.
yeah. But yeah, I know we're going to do great things in the future because we're already self-made and we already know how our future is. But any other things that you guys wanted to talk about? Any other points or things you guys wanted to bring up as far as being self-made?
Well, definitely. Well, I don't know if this is uh, a virtue that a lot of people who I would consider self-made have, but don't be afraid to make out a plan B. You know, if plan A ends up failing,
Hmm.
it's always smart to have a backup plan.
Hmm.
Smart people usually do.
Yeah. Well, I would say, well, this is just me personally. I do believe in plan Bs,
Hmm.
but not because my plan A is going to fail. I always believe that, you know, um, as long as I stick to it, it eventually will play out. But I do plan on, like, I do believe in plan Bs, as in, like, for example, acting. If I'm not acting, what if there's something else I could do to bring in income? That's what I believe in, like a plan B.
Yeah.
Or, so you and I have different views of plan B, which is okay. But Aiden, anything?
Not specifically. Dude, I'm drifting off into
Yeah. See, Aiden,
sleepy
he has
mode, so
been.
I'm
You
like
just
half in this
ate,
right
did you?
now.
So you just ate. So you ready? You ready to?
No, it's not just
Oh,
that. Long
it's not
story
the itis.
short, no, long story short, my sleep schedule has been kind of whack for the past like 3 months, and then I'm trying to fix it, and then for whatever reason I can't sleep for more than 5 hours. I've been up since 2:30 in the morning. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
kind of out of it.
I had that problem. I was having that problem all throughout March and April, man. I just couldn't. My what you call it? My eternal clock was all off.
Circadian rhythm.
Yeah. That.
Yeah.
I honestly,
What that
feel.
is it's your body naturally reacting to the rise and fall of the sun and like
Yeah,
kind of
no,
waking up
yeah,
with the sun. Yeah, that's basically what it is.
yeah. That's what I meant. I almost honestly, I almost said biological clock, but then I thought to myself, wait a minute, I'm not a woman.
That's your life. That's your life, bro.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Tyler. Wait a minute.
It better not be.
I mean, it's 2020. You know what they say. I
No, wait,
mean,
isn't
times
that
are
isn't that what
changing.
it's called? Isn't that what it's called? It's called your biological uh well, isn't that a term for like the window you have to become pregnant? And I thought it was called a biological clock.
I
Well, I
maybe,
don't.
but I don't see why you'd have to be worrying about that, bro. Unless there's something you got to
That's what
Yeah.
I'm
prove.
saying. I was like, wait a minute, wrong term. That's why I didn't say it. That's why I didn't say it because I was like, wait a minute, I think that's just for women.
Yeah. Women are complicated, man. Come on. All right, so guys, we are the Queen City Psychos. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And we want you guys to hit that notification bell. Um, we are gonna be coming back in the future. Of course, we don't know the exact time. I mean, it could be back next week, 2 weeks from now. Of course,
New videos
our
every week, every so
yeah, we
often.
try, yeah, every so often.
I ain't gonna lie, I miss dropping a video every single week, man. That was
Yeah,
I enjoyed doing that. It gave me something to look forward to on Sunday.
yeah, we'll get back
Yeah,
into it for sure.
for sure. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in. Again, this is me, Aiden, and oh, you know what we forgot to do? Did we
Hmm.
mention that E-Man was not here?
Oh,
I
uh, I think we might end up any of our subscribers that are Kardashian fans. We might end up losing them after this episode. Just something to keep in mind.
I don't care.
Well, we don't
I
care.
don't either. I don't either, bro.
But all right, thank you guys for tuning in, and we are out.
Peace.